unfolding me. Well, I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole world to hear. I wish I could share all that's in my heart and remove all the bars that keep us apart. And I wish you could know how it feels to meet me. Then you'd see and the sea that everyone should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give, and I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things that I can do, though I'm way overdue. I'll be starting anew. I wish I could be like a bird in the sky, and how sweet it would be if I thought I could fly. I would soar to the sun and look down at the sea, and I sing because I know, and I sing because I know, and I sing because I know how it feels to be free, to be
Bells. Good morning. Good morning, Cedar Lane. It is a joy to be together in worship today, whether you are here with us in person or joining us from home. I'm Abhi Janamanchi, he, him, and I'm delighted to welcome you to this time of connection, reflection, and celebration. I am an Indian male in his 50s with dark hair and a graying mustache, wearing a pink shirt, a magenta vest with a rainbow chalice pin, and dark blue pants. At Cedar Lane, we are a religious community where love works, where we explore the eternal, nurture community, and build a more just world. We dare to embody beloved community, creating a space where everyone, no matter their age, beliefs, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, ability, documentation status, or life experiences, is welcome to bring their whole self here. If you're new or feeling new, we would love to connect with you. Please raise your hand if you're here in person, or introduce yourself in the chat if you're online. If you're joining us, especially for the first time, we have some goodies for our guests this morning. So please raise your hand and keep them raised so our greeters can offer you that nice little bag that they're passing around. Let's give our friends a warm Cedar Lane welcome. After the service, you're invited to join us for fellowship and refreshments. I hear from good sources that we have cake from yesterday's big celebration that'll be in the fellowship hall, and we will also have ice cream outside. Awesome ways to connect and deepen our relationships in our vibrant community. As we gather for worship, let's also embrace the lively, multi-generational spirit of Cedar Lane. Feel free to use creative listening materials to stay engaged throughout the service, and those are available for both adults and children. And if you are in need of a listening ear or some extra support, our caring ministry team is here for you. Please don't hesitate to reach out to caring team member Lori Richardson. Where are you, Lori? Thank you, Lori. And now, in the spirit of community, let's take a moment to greet one another, especially our guests this morning. So turn to your neighbor, share a warm hello. Beautiful. Thank you, members of the quartet. Jasmin and Michael. Wow, what a beautiful way to begin our time together. In a world that feeds on moral outrage, we are here to cultivate moral courage. In a time that prizes picking sides, we gather to draw a wider circle. And in a culture that teaches us to get for what we give and to ask what's in it for me, we come to practice generosity and to remember that we are all in this together. In the midst of life's bitterness, we choose to sing, to give thanks, to laugh together, and to be keepers of beauty, to offer a place of belonging for all who come in gladness and in pain, to resist the push to the next moment and the next, to slow down, to breathe more deeply, to feel a part of something greater for this hour and in this space. So let us be the change we wish to see. Come, let us worship together.
I'm David Devlin Foltz, the worship associate for today's service. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a white, cisgender, heterosexual male in my late 60s. I'm wearing a short-sleeved blue shirt today and black pants, and I have glasses, brown hair, and a graying beard. In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we light a chalice as a symbol of our faith and community. We now invite Macy Smith and Joël Bourguignon, visiting us from Portugal, to light the chalice. So please rise in body or in spirit and join me in saying the chalice lighting words on the screen. We light this chalice as a symbol of our shared faith, a faith that calls us to engage with the world as it is, to act with love, seek justice, and bring hope where it is most needed. May this flame ignite our hearts, inspire our hands, and remind us that together we can build a more just world. Please remain as you are to sing hymn number 347, Gather the Spirit.
Witness the mystery of
As we enter this sacred time of sharing joys and sorrows, let us take a deep breath and ground ourselves in the present moment. With open hearts, we welcome the full spectrum of human experience, joys, challenges, grief, and hope, knowing that in this shared community, we are never alone. Within our Cedar Lane community, we celebrate with Jack and Shirley Welch, who joyfully announced the birth of their granddaughter, Kira, born to their daughter, Jennifer, and her husband, Rush Doshi. We hold Monty Thornburg in our hearts as he mourns the loss of his dear friend and civil rights warrior, Rosie Lee Carpenter, who passed away on August 31st. We surround Lori Richardson with our love as she grieves the death of her brother, Charles Chuck Richardson, who passed on September 8th, with family and friends by his side in Macon, Georgia. We extend our care and compassion to Carolyn Benson and her children, David and Jenny, as they mourn the passing of Jeff Benson on September 12th. May they find comfort and peace during this difficult time. As we widen our circle of concern, we hold in our thoughts all those impacted by violence, war, natural disasters, and climate crises, both in our nation and across the world. We continue to pray for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, the release of all captives, and the swift delivery of much-needed humanitarian aid to those in danger. As we close this time of sharing, I invite you to come forward and light a candle in honor of the joys and sorrows you carry, knowing that they are held within the embrace of this beloved community. Let us hold this sacred space together.
Would you join me now in the spirit of prayer, reflection, or meditation? Nameless one of many names and beyond all naming, Spirit of life, source of love, In this sacred moment, we gather to hold the fullness of our joys and our sorrows, spoken and unspoken, trusting in the strength of this community and the love that binds us together. We extend our care to all who celebrate and to all who grieve, knowing that no one journeys alone. As we widen our hearts, we send light to heal and to hold, knowing that we are all held by a love that will not let us go, will not let us down, and will not let us off the hook from the work of justice, compassion, and care. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. May all be happy. Sarve santu niramayah. May all be free from illness. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. May all see and experience goodness. Ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. And may no one suffer from sorrow. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. As we enter the silence together, you're invited to rise in body and or in spirit and speak the names of the loved ones you are holding in remembrance, or to share their names in the chat. Let us hold the silence as the silence holds us. Reverend Ken McLean. In the name of all that is holy and life-affirming and life-sustaining, may we say Shalom, Salam, Om Shanti, Amen, Ashe, blessed be. May it be so. You may be seated.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you.
was beautiful. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. I'm Andrew Batcher. I'm the Social Justice Coordinator at Cedar Lane. I use he or they pronouns. I am an agender male-coded person with wearing white, bald with a beard, wearing purple and gray, I'd say, plaid shirt. This is the moment in our time together when we turn our gratitude into action, offering our gifts of substance to strengthen the circle of mutual care and support that sustains this beloved community. A congregation is not some distant abstraction. It is a living, breathing community built by the love, energy, and generosity of those who call it home. When we give, we participate in something larger than ourselves, knowing that every good gift strengthens the circle and comes back to bless us all. Today, our Share the Plate offering supports Action in Montgomery, AIM, a powerful, multiracial, multi-faith organization that builds grassroots strength through relational organizing in our county's neighborhoods, congregations, and schools. Over the last few months, I've been organizing a climate revival and social justice retreat for congregations in the DMV area on September 28th and 29th. One of the purposes of this event is for us to see how climate crises connect with other social issues and to find the local intersections where we might make a difference. We've been reaching out to community partners for this event who have essentially already done this work, including AIM. Action in Montgomery has so many beautiful projects, including electrifying apartment buildings because lower income people can't make decisions about their utilities, and replacing gas stoves, which are linked to reduced air quality and breathing problems. These actions to improve the quality of life for people who don't have a lot of power are also actions to protect the planet. AIM is also working on housing, tenants' rights, universal pre-K, access to mental health, and dentistry. Really, AIM is an example of how we can unite our diverse interests into a common call for change. Thursday, I was at an energetic AIM meeting with a multiracial, interfaith, class-diverse group who were acting together to make a better community. It was an amazing example of the sort of values we talk about being put into action. And it was powerful. One of the things frequently mentioned was how, for the first time ever, AIM did a statewide action in Annapolis last year, and Maryland legislators were shocked and enthused to see such a large interfaith group. AIM has actions coming up on October 15th and November 17th. I'd love to see you there. And please donate what you can to support Cedar Lane and this important community partner. You can give online, by text, or by mailing a check, or by placing your gift in the offering plate. Every contribution, large or small, helps further this mission within Cedar Lane and beyond our doors. The offering will now be given and gratefully received. Thank you.
Oh
The Reverend Bill Sinkford writes, "Love is often spoken of as the foundation of our faith. But in Unitarian Universalism, love is not a passive or sentimental feeling. It is an active, powerful force that requires us to engage fully with the world and all its complexities. Love is something we do, not just something we feel. As Cornel West reminds us, justice is what love looks like in public. This love manifests through advocacy, solidarity, and courageous action. It is not limited to personal relationships or acts of kindness. It extends to our collective responsibility to challenge oppression and inequality and to stand with those who are marginalized and vulnerable. In a world full of injustice, it is easy to retreat into our personal lives and focus on love within our own communities. But our faith calls us to more. We are called to bring love into the public sphere, to extend it beyond intimate circles and into the broader world where it can make a real impact. The work of love is the work of confronting the status quo, speaking for the voiceless, and demanding change where injustice prevails." Thus concludes the reading for this morning.
Condemn, I don't convert. This is a calling, have you heard? Bring all the lovers to the fore. No one is gonna lose their soul. All my days I've been searching to find out what this life is worth. Through the books I've looked, and through time I've searched. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. All we need is love. So don't let nobody stop us. Free spirits have to soar. With you I share the gift that we all know. I don't want to fight. Hey,
What an amazing music ministry team that we have here at Cedar Lane, folks. Wow. Woo! Rachel, Jenny Lynn, Yashasvi, Travis, Michael, Jasmin, you rock. Thank you. Woo! Wow. I mean, we're done, right? This is your sermon. But we got some time. So as I was preparing for today's reflection, I had what I'd like to call a concept of a plan. It was a perfect plan, really. The best plan you could imagine. It was a tremendous plan. And I had big crowds who came to hear my plan, and people are definitely going to be talking about my plan. Big crowds. Big crowds. I have the biggest crowds in the UUA. And then, well, let's just say it turned out more like a rough draft that I was working until about an hour ago. So today I invite us to reflect on what it means to live Unitarian Universalism as a real-world faith, a religion that engages with the world, in this life, as it is, while envisioning what it could become. So I invite you to kind of go with me on this journey today. Because in these times of deep political division, ecological devastation, and human suffering, we are called to respond with love, justice, and resilient hope. You see, Unitarian Universalism is not just a faith that is rooted in history, but is a dynamic, evolving tradition, a living tradition that offers wisdom, compassion, and spiritual grounding to navigate the complexities of our world. It calls us to live with integrity and joy and hope, grounded in justice and love. As the Reverend Victoria Safford reminds us in The Gates of Hope, our mission is to plant ourselves at the gates of hope, not the prudent gates of optimism, which are somewhat narrower, nor the stalwart, boring gates of common sense, nor the strident gates of self-righteousness, the place of resistance and defiance, the piece of ground from which you see the world both as it is and as it could be, as it will be. The place from which we glimpse not only struggle, but joy in our struggle. Now, this paying attention that Safford describes is not passive. It demands that we engage deeply with the realities around us, whether confronting the climate crisis, the fragility of democracy, or genocide and occupation around the world. Our faith calls us to be in the tension between what is and what could be, grounded in the belief that love, courage, and hope can transform lives and communities. But to understand why Unitarian Universalism is a real-world faith for our time, it helps to know where it came from. Unitarianism was born from radical questioning during the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century, rejecting the doctrine of the Trinity in favor of the unity of God. David Ferenc, or Francis David, a preacher in Transylvania, is said to have declared, "We need not think alike to love alike." We don't know if we actually said it, but it's such a good quote. So, we need not think alike to love alike. This principle of love over dogma is central to our faith. Universalism, meanwhile, was grounded in the belief that God's love was so expansive that no one would be condemned to eternal damnation. There's a beautiful story about Universalist preacher Hosea Ballou that illustrates this idea. After delivering a sermon one day, a concerned man approached Ballou, worried about his son. "Brother Ballou," he said, "I'm afraid my son is going to hell. He spends every evening at the inn with his friends, drinking and wasting his life away." Now Ballou, ever the compassionate and insightful minister, asked him, "How old is your son?" 26, the man replied. "Friend," said Ballou, "I think I can help you. Tonight, let's you and I hide around the corner from the inn. And when closing time is near, we'll prepare a roaring fire. Then when your son comes along, we will jump out, grab him, and throw him into the fire." The man was horrified. "Are you crazy, Brother Ballou?" he said. "I could never do that to my own child." Ballou simply replied, "God couldn't either." Now, this story beautifully illustrates the core of Universalist theology, the belief in a God whose love is so vast and so unconditional that no one is ever outside the bounds of that love. And this belief is boundless, unconditional love, lays the foundation for Universalism's call to justice and equity, values that remain at the heart of Unitarian Universalism today. So we are a religion for our time. So Unitarian Universalism is more than its history. It is a vital, evolving religion that speaks to the pressing needs of this 21st century, rooted in freedom, inclusion, justice, liberation, and hope. In a time of increasing division, polarization, fear, and hatred, Unitarian Universalism stands as a beacon of freedom and inclusion. We affirm the inherent worthiness and dignity of every person, embracing diversity and pluralism not out of obligation, but as a core strength of our faith. We don't come at diversity just to celebrate it, as the cliche goes. We actually create and cultivate ways of being that teaches us to engage with diversity. We create spaces where people can bring their whole selves and be met with love. Now, this commitment to inclusion is embodied in our identity as an anti-racist, anti-oppressive, multicultural religious community. You see, our Unitarian Universalist faith calls us to confront historical and ongoing dehumanization, such as the harmful stereotypes targeting marginalized communities, like the xenophobic myth that Haitian immigrants eat locals' pets. Now, this lie is not new. It is part of a long history in this country of using food and culture to other and vilify immigrants, a tactic rooted in that same racism that paints immigrant communities as alien, unwelcome, and less than human. And these hurtful narratives aren't just limited to food-related xenophobia. A personal story. When our sons were growing up in Florida, one of the most painful and racist comments that they regularly encountered was that they smelled like curry, or that our house smelled like curry. But like Vice President Kamala Harris, our sons were raised to embrace and love and be proud of their Indian heritage and themselves. And curry, by the way, which is often used in the West to describe a range of Indian dishes, is actually a simplified term, a simplistic term popularized by colonialists to categorize the complex and diverse flavors of Indian cuisine. In reality, there is no single dish called curry in Indian cooking. Each dish varies by region. Actually, it varies by neighborhood, ingredients, and spices, each with its own rich history and tradition. And what many call curry is a reflection of this beautiful, pluralistic complexity. Having said all that, curry is delicious. And I love that our home is filled with the rich layered aromas of these spices and incense, alongside with the sound of our Indian accents. These cultural markers are not something that we feel ashamed of. They are part of who we are, and they deserve to be celebrated, not reduced to stereotypes or weaponized as racist tropes by Laura Loomer. Yeah, it is. It got a little personal, so. Unitarian Universalism rejects these dehumanizing narratives. We affirm the dignity of all people and are called to dismantle systems of oppression. Our faith calls us not just to personal growth, but to social justice. As former UUA President, the Reverend Dr. William Schultz said, the mission of Unitarian Universalism is not to seek spiritual solace for a few, but to contribute to the transformation of society. Whether through racial justice, environmental sustainability, or immigrant rights, our faith compels us to engage with the struggles of the world. As the Palestinian-American poet Naomi Shihab Nye reminds us, each moment is an opportunity to create a more just and compassionate world. A real-world faith is engaged also in strengthening the fabric and soul of democracy. You see, democracy is not automatic, as Representative Jamie Raskin reminds us. It depends on the hard work and dedication of citizens who recognize that freedom and justice are fragile and must be defended. We must be the stewards of democracy, ensuring that truth prevails over lies and that participation, not apathy, defines our civic life. His words emphasize the active role we must play in strengthening and defending our democracy, much like our call in Unitarian Universalism to rise for justice and truth in the face of oppression and falsehoods. In a world that often feels disconnected, Unitarian Universalism offers a community of care. Our sense of community is deeply rooted in interdependence. As UUA President Reverend Sophia Betancourt reminded us last week, our work is collective. It is shared. None of us can do it alone. It is the strength of community that makes transformation possible. This calls us to recognize that our well-being is tied to that of others. Our interdependence extends beyond this community, beyond this nation, beyond this world, to this, our Blue Boat home. UU theologian Sharon Welch writes, to protect the earth is to protect ourselves, and to love the earth is to love all life that depends on it. The climate crisis is undeniable. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, it is a justice issue. And those least responsible, communities of color, indigenous peoples, and the economically vulnerable, are bearing the brunt of its impact. Justice for people is inseparable from justice for the earth. And our faith compels us to rise with those most affected, demand bold action, and honor our responsibility to future generations. One of Unitarian Universalism's greatest strength is its willingness to embrace uncertainty. We believe fervently not just in the courage of our convictions, but in the courage of our confusions. I was just checking to see if you were following along. We believe in the courage of our confusions. Because faith is not about rigid answers for us, but about growth, about questioning and evolving understanding. As UU theologian James Luther Adams said, an unexamined faith is not worth having, for it can be true only by being constantly tested and reshaped in the crucible of experience. So our faith evolves with us, allowing us to respond to the world's complexities. And in the face of overwhelming injustice and suffering, Unitarian Universalism offers hope grounded in action. We stand, as Victoria Stafford said, at the gates of hope, seeing the world as it is and as it could be. This is not a naive hope. It is the belief that together, with love, we can make a difference. Naomi Shihab Nye writes in her poem, So Much Happiness, even the fact that you once lived in a peaceful tree house and now live over a quarry of noise and dust cannot make you unhappy. Everything could wake up filled with possibilities. Our work is to keep these possibilities alive, to act with love and courage even when the path is unclear. Finally, we must confront the genocide unfolding in Gaza, where innocent civilians suffer on an unimaginable scale, never seen in recent history. This is not just a distant humanitarian crisis, it is a moral call to action. And our faith teaches that every person has inherent worthiness and dignity, that all lives are sacred, Palestinian lives and Israeli lives, and they are equally valuable. And we are interconnected, and we are complicit. We cannot look away. We are called to speak truth to power, to confront the injustice of this occupation, and to challenge the systems that perpetuate violence and promote militarism. The suffering in Gaza and Israel reminds us that peace is not merely the absence of conflict and that you cannot bomb your way to peace, but the presence of justice, freedom, self-determination, and dignity for all people. As Palestinian poet Mahmoud Darwish writes in Jerusalem, I walk down the slope and I think to myself, how do the narrators disagree over what light says about a stone? Is it from a dim light of a stone that wars flare up? I say to myself, if this shadow was my friend, what will it give me? A storm blown from the east, for there is nothing left but war. In this silence, we must answer. The cries of those suffering in Gaza and beyond cannot go unanswered. It is our responsibility to break this silence, to demand justice and peace, and to ensure that the dignity of all people is upheld. The time for waiting is over, friends. As a Unitarian Universalist minister, I cannot tell you what to do. You will fire me if I did. What can we do is a community question that I invite and challenge you to actually engage with. Because if we say we are a faith that is committed to the questions and does not believe in simple, fabricated answers, we are being challenged to actually sit with those difficult questions, Deborah. And I can't be the one telling you what to do from this pulpit. If we are committed, let's do something together. Figure it out. Unitarian Universalism is a real-world faith because it does not turn away from hard truths or pain. It calls us to bring our whole selves, our doubts, our hopes, our questions, our dreams into the work of healing and justice. This faith calls us to live our values out loud, to act with courage in the face of injustice, and to keep love as our guide. As June Jordan writes in Poem for South African Women in response to the 40,000 South African women who marched against apartheid, and who will join the standing up, and the ones who stood without sweet company will sing and sing back into the mountains, and if necessary, even under the sea. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Called to the sacred holy work. We are not called to sit on the sidelines watching injustice unfold. No. Love demands action, and love rises in the face of oppression and declares, not today, not on my watch. And we're not just called to be believers in justice, but builders of justice. And this work is not easy. And yes, the road is hard. The journey is long. But let me tell you, just like those 40,000 women in South Africa who stood boldly against apartheid, we rise with the power of love and faith, knowing that we are never alone. We stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, those who sang freedom songs, who marched, who fought, who died for justice and liberation. So hear me now. The moral arc of the universe bends towards justice, as Theodore Parker said. But it doesn't bend on its own. It needs our hands and our shoulders, and it needs our hearts. And we can only bend it with love, with bold, relentless love. And so, let us leave this place today, not with fear, not with doubt, but with the fierce conviction that love is stronger than hate, that justice will roll down like waters, and that each one of us has a part to play in this great movement toward healing and wholeness, because now is the time, and we are the ones, and with love as our guide, we will not fail. May it be so. Amen. And the people say with a little bit more energy, all right. Yes, let us not continue to subscribe to that awful trope about Unitarian Universalists being God's frozen people. So rise up, people, and let us sing Love Will Guide Us.
Love will guide us, peoples must try us, hope inside us will lead the way, on the road from greed to giving, love will guide
Rogers would be so proud today, Michael. This is the original version of Love Will Guide Us. We kind of put a little sanitized UU version in our hymnal. So thank you for leading us.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for that. As Unitarian Universalists, our announcements are more than just sharing information. They're invitations to embody our heretical spirit by moving forward from belief to action, making a meaningful difference in the world around us.
But first, what an incredible open house and reopening ceremony we had yesterday. It was a huge success, with so many of you coming together to celebrate this milestone in our congregation's history. I offer a heartfelt thank you to everyone who made it happen. Our amazing staff, lay leaders, and volunteers. If you were there yesterday, would you please rise so we can recognize and thank you. Wow. It was your dedication that truly brought this special day to life. And a special note of gratitude to Representative Jamie Raskin, other elected officials and faith leaders and the community, including the wonderful citations that we received from Congress and Senator Van Hollen and the County Council that recognized Cedar Lane's vital role in building a more just world right here in Montgomery County. Yeah.
On a different note, we have two important services next Saturday, September 21st, celebrating the life of longtime member Marilyn Smith at 10:30 next Saturday, and then celebrating the life of Minister Emeritus Reverend Ken McLean at 2:30 p.m. The service will feature reflections from Reverends John Burens, Marlon Lavenhar, John Gibbons, and others. This will be a time to remember Ken's profound impact on our community and beyond.
And then on Sunday, Reverend Dr. John Burens, former UUA president, will be preaching from the Cedar Lane pulpit. And looking ahead to the following Sunday, September 22nd, Earth-based celebration of autumn equinox. At 9 a.m. in the bench circle outside, we will gather to honor the turning of the seasons. And then in the afternoon at 12:30, going forward, music and arts at Cedar Lane will be happening in the Sanctuary and Fellowship Hall. We will join our new Director of Music and Arts, Michael Holmes, to dream and vision together about how we can lay the foundation for a vibrant, beloved community through the arts. Be there, it'll be awesome, and I hear lunch will be provided. So, come for lunch, stay for the conversation.
That was for you, Michael, not for the lunch, honestly. The following weekend, we also invite you to the DMV Area Climate Revival Hub and Social Justice Retreat on Saturday, September 28th, from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 at River Road Unitarian Universalist Congregation. Register in the e-news, or I assume on the website as well. Right, Andrew? I hope?
That's
yes,
right.
We hope so.
And then on Sunday, September 29, join us for an interfaith climate revival service with faith and community leaders, including from Interfaith Power and Light and AIM, and the amazing singer and activist Leah Morris.
And later that day, Leah Morris will lead a workshop titled Ordinary Magic, a Singing Workshop at 1 p.m. in our sanctuary right here. Come sing, move, and be moved by her renowned gift of song leading.
And finally, if you're feeling inspired by our community and want to make Cedar Lane your spiritual home, we invite you to become a member today. Please see me after the service to sign the membership book and the secret handshake and the dunk tank behind. And together, let's continue to build a world where love works. And as we reflect on what it means to be a real world faith and live out our shared values as a religious community, I leave you with these words from the Reverend Victoria Safford. Our task is to stand still in the grace of the world and to pay attention, to see clearly the world as it is. And from that place of clarity, we can choose to act, to be agents of justice and compassion. We do not stand apart from the world, we are a part of it. And our faith calls us to move forward with love as our guide. Go in peace, go making peace, living gently, loving mightily, and bowing to the mystery. May it be so.